allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 3, honor our robotics team.
All right, we've got our robotics team here, and I'm just going to start by saying how much fun it was to watch you guys on the live stream at Nationals. But I want to give you guys a chance, if you would, kind of talk us through your process from beginning to end of, you kind of have your task, you have to build a robot, and then you go to compete. So tell us a little bit about that.
Who wants to do it? Cover.
So the process, I don't know, it's kind of all over the place, I would say, but I mean, we get it done. We have a pretty small team, so it's honestly really easy kind of just to assign somebody to something on the robot, and they get it done. We go through a bunch of trial and error testing whenever we build the robot or the robots. We kind of just start off with, I don't know, we create them out of MDF, slap everything together, see if it works, and if it does, then we'll be like, okay, sweet, and then we'll make the same piece out of polycarb, which is all of the clear stuff that's on the robot. We kind of just keep maintaining the robot, keep working stuff out, and keep testing everything. Every now and then we'll keep finding kinks and stuff and errors that we work out and we fix, and then when it comes time for competitions, we just keep on doing the same thing. Just keep testing the robot, making sure it works, keep beating the crap out of it, keep fixing it.
Running into walls.
Yeah, running into walls.
Yeah, so I think it's around usually the second week of January. They do kickoff.
January 6th every year.
Yeah, January 6th.
Somewhere early January is kickoff. We all go down to Stillwater and they do basically a video for the game, and that is literally all over the world. They drop the live stream once, basically. We learn the game, and then some teams start strategizing there, what they want to do, what their ideas are, and yeah.
So describe this year's game, just in brief detail. What was the objective? I mean, I saw it, and it looks like a lot of craziness going on, but
It definitely does look like that.
but what's the object of the game and what were you guys competing with?
So this year it was all archaeology theme. It's a different theme every year. Next year's biology and all that stuff. So we had game pieces called Fuel, if you want to pass this around and feel that. So they're just little foam dodgeballs, essentially, not actual dodgeballs, because that hurts to get hit by, I'll tell you personally. So you had two different teams, so you have red, blue every year, same thing, they do the same thing. This year it was, so Autonomous is, as Mr. Bellows was watching, it's where none of our drive team, me or whoever was on our drive team, is controlling a robot with our actual controller. And that's all pre-programmed into the robot or pre-programmed through different sites that everybody uses. And then after those 20 seconds this year, it goes into what was called the transition phase, where the game, all the stuff inside the game would see, okay, let's say blue team is one auto, right? So after transition phase, there's about a 10-second transition where both teams still have their hub active, and then as soon as that transition phase ends, it'll switch to the red side, so they'll have their time to shoot, and it keeps going back and forth between each team, shooting as many as they can, getting as many points as they can, and then in-game you had a choice between climbing or still shooting, and climbing would give you more ranking points, but a lot of the teams after week one and at week one, what we saw was that not really people had climbers. Climbing was useful, yes, but it's still not as useful as getting more points. So it was more of just like waiting for your turn, kind of strategizing, playing defense, hoarding all those balls. As if you watched, as Mr. Bellows did, I know he did at least. You could see that a bunch of all the teams always have these giant stockpiles in your corners, and so that's really all there was to it. It was just kind of keep away.
So how much fuel was on the field?
What was it, 360?
Yeah.
360.
All over the field, you go pick up and shoot.
So once you pick some up here, I mean, you obviously have to take them out of the machine, correct?
Yes.
Or out of the robot.
Yes.
Go show them that.
So let's turn it on and shoot it.
So
I've seen those shoot, I don't know.
So the fuel, we would pick it up from the ground like this, pop up into the hopper like that.
we have motors that, I think it's 3 motors right now just on our actual shooter, and then we have a feeder down here that does 1. All of these balls get fed up into the shooter. We have flywheels in our shooter, like drum, basically, and you just basically shoot the balls out really quick. We have a camera with code that detects how far we are away from the hub, and then that'll change the speed of the drone shooter, and then we shoot it. And so we can make it from almost any distance, assuming this can get quick enough.
Very cool. So do you have limitations on what you can use for your materials? Are there like guidelines of what's available and?
We're more restricted by our weight limits.
Okay.
So this year, the max robot weight was 130 pounds?
150.
115?
Last year
115,
was
well, we were close. 115 pounds, and then you've got your bumpers, and then you've got your frame perimeter, that's a limitation as well, and the height. So we have to work inside of all of those constrictions to get a robot that does what this does.
Very cool.
What percentage is 3D printed?
So, yeah, pretty much everything here is purple.
That makes it easy.
We also 3D print our tread. We found it to be more sustainable, so we can swap it out in between matches and mess with the traction. Yeah, everything that's this dark purple is 3D printed. So
It's very cool.
not as much as we had last year, but still quite a bit.
That's awesome.
It's probably important to point out that you don't win as an individual team, and I didn't hear him say that, but you align with 2 other teams to form an alliance. So when they got together on each match, they had to collaborate with their 2 other teams that they were aligned with and determine strengths, weaknesses, strategies, and just general objectives. A big deal in my opinion. I mean, it's one thing to build a robot, which they did a great job on, but where the rubber meets the road is out there when you're getting together with other teams and saying, okay, how are we going to do this and make it a winning combination.
Yeah, that's impressive. Very impressive.
So the 5550, obviously that's your team number. Is everyone assigned
Yes.
that number? Did you get to select that number? Did they assign it to you? How'd that work?
They assigned it, what, 15 years ago at this point?
So basically, it's a sequential number, so we're the 5,000 team that number of teams to sign up for as a team.
So you'll always have that number. That's when it's-
And this robot is not our starting robot this year. Our first competition, we placed 43rd, I think, out of 46. So we were bottom of the barrel. We thought it looked great. It performed well, what we built it for, but it didn't do fantastic. And so we tore it completely apart and rebuilt it. And it paid off. So in our second competition, we placed 3rd.
Awesome. That's impressive. So how many hours do you have in that? Did you track that? I'm guessing.
So,
A lot.
so from that January 6th or whatever date that is, we do, I think it's 2-hour meetings every Tuesday and Thursday, and then every Saturday we did 9 to 4s. So
3 hours until it gets closer to competition, then we start meeting more often.
It's a lot of time. Many hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Nicholas, what's next for you? Are you a senior this year?
So these are all seniors. I'm the only junior, and as of right now, we're working on recruiting efforts to get more kids on the team.
Okay.
And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I hope to be able to experience next year and have my senior year here, but I had a lot of fun this year. Worlds was amazing. So first, they have 3 different leagues: first Lego League, first Tech Challenge, and first Robotics Competition. We're Robotics Competition, obviously, kind of, and this is the biggest kind of thing they have. It's pretty much just high schoolers, and at Worlds there was 600 teams, and for our league, 16 countries, and probably a ballpark 20,000 people that showed up.
It was 50,000.
Wait,
Well,
35,000.
it's 50,000
It was
people
close to
for
35,000.
all of the leagues combined,
Yeah.
and about 60 countries there. And
Wow.
it's the people you get to meet and everything. It's amazing.
What a
The
great
friends you make
experience.
and the experience is just something else.
So, those of you that are seniors, have you been on the team for all 4 of your years in high school?
So I've been on the team the longest. I've been here since 8th grade,
Okay.
which is whenever I came to Bethany. Everybody else I had recruited, other than Nicholas, because pretty much my peers, they were all leaving, and I wasn't gonna have really anybody else kind of like in his situation. So I was like, hey, please join. And they're like, okay, and then they kind of just stuck around. So it was nice.
You're a good recruiter then. Well, I will tell you guys, so exciting to watch the competition. I think when you hear robotics, a lot of people think about what they do in elementary school with the little robots and they run a little track. When you see this competition, it is just a whole nother level. And then to hear the problem solving of, we thought we had a good idea, it didn't quite work out, so you scrap it and you start over, you take what you learn. And so I hadn't even heard that story until tonight, which is really, really cool because that's life, right? I mean, you don't have to be perfect the first time, and here you are going to nationals and representing Bethany on the world stage. What an honor it is to have you guys do that, and just a lot of fun to watch. And it's different every year, right? The competition is different every year, so next year could be something completely different with new challenges, but that's the fun of it. So proud of all of you guys for representing Bethany in that way and putting us on the world map. So thank you so much for that.
When you get done here, we'll be down in the elementary cafeteria eating Swadley's barbecue. You guys are welcome to come join us. And have a little time of celebration. So.
Awesome. Congratulations.
We shoot sandwiches out to everyone.
Thank you all.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Thanks
Thank
for being
you for
here.
Yeah, thanks for
coming.
coming.
You all. I assume you all got to attend, some of you attended.
We all did.
Thank you for representing that.
Yeah. All right. Item number 4. Sarah Wheatley, a high school student, will read a poem that she read at nationals.
Or sight. Okay. To a Young Dancing Girl by Elsa Gitlow. Golden-eyed girl, do you see what I see? Do you see behind the veil that life laughs through? Golden-eyed girl, I would like to laugh with you, but my veil is torn, and I see things pass like shadows in the depths of a crystal glass. Golden-eyed girl, you are young as springtime. Your great eyes are dreamful, your rare lips sweet. Shadows matter little to youth with dancing feet. All of life's skeletons wear gay dresses, and youth is deceived by even death's caresses. Golden-eyed girl, you have years to dance and wonder before your life's curtain will wear into holes and let you see the hopelessness hidden in souls. You have many moons of laughter, many years to go before you'll learn how heavy dancing feet can grow.
For just a second, if you don't mind. That was awesome. Thank you so much for that. Now, tell us a little bit about your trip to nationals, and and start off by how you qualify to get to go to that, because that's exciting by itself.
So I competed in a competition called Poetry Out Loud. It's funded by the National Endowment of the Arts. This was my 4th year to represent Bethany at the state level. I've placed 3rd twice, and this is my first year to place 1st. So they flew me out to Washington, D.C. for a week, and I got to compete against the state representative from every state as well as the territories. So there was a total of 54 students there. I had so much fun. It was such a beautiful city to be in. But it was so cool to get to connect with people my age that have such a love for the arts, especially poetry. And I was talking to Dr. Bellows about this earlier. Since everyone had won at their state level, there was no competition, arrogant air out of everything. We were all just so excited to be there and to share poetry with each other. We had one big party after the final competition, and all the students kind of migrated away from the adults, and we went into this room, and we all just got in a big circle, and we just started doing slam poetry. We recited stuff that we had written or poems that we didn't get to recite on stage, and it was just so cool to get to connect with other people. Yeah.
And that's called slam poetry?
Well, slam poetry is pretty much when you say poetry that you've written yourself. So it was very spontaneous. Like someone would randomly stand up and be like, "Can I go?" And we would just listen to them go. But as far as the competition went, it was really, really cool. We got to perform in the Lincoln the Listener Auditorium. It was near all the memorials and stuff.
George Washington University.
There we go.
Is where it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was just so cool. We were broken up into semifinals based on your region. Region 2. And yeah, it was just so much fun. I had the time of my life, and I really hope I get to go back next year as well.
Oh, that's great.
Well, congratulations.
That's awesome.
And the competition, they had to choose poems from an anthology, so the competition's not slam. That was just their fun time.
Yeah, that was our extra.
Is that like Pitch Perfect? I'm envisioning Pitch Perfect kind of.
Being
So
word for word is really important because
Yes.
for every mistake, wrong word, or mixing words, it's their deductions.
Yeah, your score accuracy is the most important part of all of it. If you miss one word, you're docked a point, and there's only 8 points total. So if you get all the way to 0, you're kind of just done for. But you're also, scored based on presence on stage, your evidence of understanding of the piece. Like Mr. Baker said, we had to pick based from this big anthology, and this year they really shrunk it down and kept it very Americana for the 250th anniversary of America. So there was a lot of very heavy pieces about, slavery, suffrage, all the things. But it was really, really cool to get to see everybody share what was important to them and what they were passionate about on stage. And yeah, it was just an amazing opportunity, and Mr. Baker, I have to thank for that, as well as you guys as well.
congratulations.
Congrats,
Awesome. Very
Well, you
awesome.
are, your poetry was great, your reciting of that was great. I can tell you're very well spoken through this process as well, even just talking to us now. So those skills will carry on beyond poetry,
Yes.
but thank you so much again for
Thank you very
representing
much.
us in DC.
Thank you for
Very
having
good.
me.
You guys are
Yeah,
welcome
you
to
can
stay,
leave.
but you're also welcome to go.
I'll be down to help the choir concert.
Very good, yeah.
Have fun. See you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
And then there were 3.
Yeah.
I made the top 3.
Who's doing poetry next?
Yeah.
No.
Slam poetry. Roses are red.
Yeah.
All right, item 5, consent agenda. 5A, approve the minutes of April 14th, 2026 regular board meeting. 5B, discussion and possible action to approve the following contracts and agreements for fiscal year 27. A, YMCA Camp Klassen contract. B, Vision Services contract. C, Cheer Coach contract. D, More Therapy Services contract. E, Oklahoma Fire Protection Agreement. F, OSSBA Employment Services. G, Title III Consortium Agreement. 5C, discussion and possible action to approve the following out-of-town/out-of-state and overnight trips. A, Girls Golf State, Ardmore, Oklahoma, 5/3 through 5/5 of 2026. B, Show Choir Camp at Sawyer Lake, 7/23 through 7/25 of 2026. And Palm Camp, OKC, 7/15 through 7/18 of 2026. 5D, approve the additions to the following activity funds. 1, baseball, 805. 2 softball, 806, 3 art, 902, 4 BHS cheer, 905, 5 BHS technology, 961, and then 5E, approve the financial fund reports. I was trying to enunciate my words.
Good. Let me, if I can, just talk through a couple things real quick. So on the contracts, a lot of those are just standard. Every year we do those things. Oklahoma Fire Pro is a different company than we've used in the past. Infosys, I believe, is who we've used in the past. Mr. Mont, you want to take just a quick second to explain the transition there?
So we've had some issues with our fire alarm. They will come in annually and do a state required inspection, and we've got issues here or there, and the Infosys will come in, and they don't have a lot of knowledge of our existing fire system there, and there's some history there that if you want me to, I'll go in at a later time. But so I thought it may be a good idea to get some additional pricing. Reached out to Johnson Controls and Oklahoma Fire Pro. Oklahoma Fire Pro has quite a bit of staff on their existing team that has intimate knowledge of our fire systems, and they also came in at a price that was 40% less for annual inspections. So Mr. Jasper and I talked about that and thought it would be a good idea to switch over. So that includes the annual inspections and the monthly fees for the monitoring.
Then the other thing I would mention on the out-of-state travel and overnight travel, the girls golf state, you'll notice that is predated to today. We usually try to anticipate those types of playoffs or things you're not quite sure if you're going to make it or not. This one we just didn't anticipate early enough, I guess, and so it kind of snuck up on us, and so we will try to make sure we get those optimistic trips that we think we're going to anticipate we're going to make playoffs or make state, or and get those in. In this case, we did want to go ahead and we did approve it ahead of the trip, internal, but then we want to let you guys see it as well, just to know that all of the policies were followed and all the guidelines were followed. And this was one girl with a friend and her family, and so it was very much within all the standards. But we will try to make sure we get those ahead of time, just anticipating that we will need those. And then if we don't use them, then that's not a problem either. But so that's just a couple of notes there. You have any questions? You can comment.
Okay, on the any questions, or you guys ready for me? On the financials, going through the activity fund, not much new happening. Everybody's doing good as we're closing out the year. You know, most of the activities are closing it out. Not a lot ramping up. I looked at last year's. It was down a little bit at this time last year compared to the starting balance, and so that's not even out of the ordinary. I think I'm assuming or estimating that there will be some revenue still collected, so we may end up pretty close to where we started there. On the function summary, we're up to where we'll be encumbered for about $17,770,000. That's adding up what's already been expended and the encumbered. I think we'll end up around 18.2 million. Another thing I would notice on the encumbered, so that's $5,768,000 that we have not spent yet, but is encumbered to spend. And I try to add things new every meeting and go over what that is. And so you might think, well, that's a lot for only 2 months left, but we still have 4 payrolls to run, and those payrolls are the vast amount of our expenses, and so that'll get expended as we run them. We run all of them, the last 3 in June, because they have to be run before the end of the fiscal year, and so most of that will go from encumbered to expended, and then we still have the other accounts payable POs. There's accounts payable and payroll, so we'll still have some AP left to do. On the revenue tracking sheet, let me get to that page. we're starting to get to the point where we're over collecting on a lot of these different revenue sources. And a big reason for that is we work with our auditors at the beginning of the year to kind of do the estimates of what we're gonna receive. And on a lot of these, it's kind of standard for them to say, we're gonna do 90% of last year, just because you don't know what's gonna happen. We definitely don't wanna overestimate. And so that's just explaining why that happens. And in some of these, like maternity leave reimbursement, they're negative, but we're going to get them. Different years, they do things differently. We have claimed stuff like our maternity leave reimbursement, but they've said this year we're going to give it all at the end, as opposed to throughout the year. So there are certain things like that, that even though they're negative, we're still going to get them. It's just, we haven't gotten it yet. And then just projecting out, I've kind of done an estimate, and hopefully I don't put my foot in my mouth here. I think we'll collect around 17.2 to 17.4 million. And you can kind of compare that to, we estimated around 16,631,000. So I think we're going to do pretty good over collecting. Some of that will depend on timing of claiming federal funds. You do some claims in July after the fiscal year, so that could fluctuate. I could be off a little bit there depending on how much each title fund is, how much is spent in each title fund. I think I'll take any questions you guys have.
So we're gonna have 600, or we're gonna have 6 million left over? Is that what you're saying on this?
Are you seeing 6 million? That's our cash balance right now.
Okay.
So that'll get spent down. It'll probably be around, you know, I've estimated around 3,750,000 to 4 million is around where that's going to be.
Okay. That's about what it has been for the last, right? The fund balance is what we carried over from last year.
The fund balance we carried over, yeah, is 4,300,000, and it's always a little high right now because you haven't run those payrolls.
Mm-hmm.
Each payroll can be about $1 million.
Yeah.
So, but we'll also, I don't want you to think that's going to take us too low. We're not running out of money. We're still getting our funds from the state every month.
Yeah, because you still have money to collect. I see.
Yeah, especially foundation and incentive.
Yeah, like almost 2 million for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that'll land us around 4-ish, I think.
Okay.
What's our carryover threshold? Isn't there's a penalty if there's too much? What's our?
It's you add up your total revenue, times it by 17%, and then you get to add back in federal funds. You don't have to count federal funds against it. So the number I would say that we're going to hit is going to be around 3.8 to 4, because that's going to be the amount it's going to be right there with.
So our goal is to stay just under that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say so.
And part of that reason, correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, you want to do things, but we also invest some of those funds, and so the more we have to invest, the more we make on interest of those investments. So if you're just barely carrying over a little bit, you're just losing opportunity to possibly invest and create another $100,000 or so in an investment that you would have. So there are times where it may make sense to spend down even further and you would still be okay financially, but in some ways it makes a little more sense to be able to have some that you can invest that you then are going to get some of that money back.
I would say there's a couple different reasons that you want a healthy carryover in case there's an emergency. Things cost so much more than they used to that if you have a big event happen, you could cut that in half real easily. And then also what Dr. Bello said, we've earned to date about $200,000 in interest. I think that's going to land around $220 or $230. You know, that's multiple salaries, and it's that's $200,000 that you wouldn't have if you delete that.
Is the penalty automatic?
You get a 1-year grace. So,
You mean like for all time or
like you can,
for like right now or?
yeah, you can't.
When is the grace period?
You can't be over 2 years in a row.
Oh, okay, so.
Every other year.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I have not
I like your own
actually,
budget.
I have not actually asked what would happen if you were over, under, and then over again. What I've been told is.
Don't.
You got a 1
Yeah,
year.
you don't-
So if we're over this year, it's not gonna affect us unless we're over 2 years in a row.
Yes.
Didn't
That's
they
correct.
go back 2 years or just 1 year? And penalize us?
It would just be for the current year. So
Okay.
if you were over 2 years in a row, they wouldn't go back to that first year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is 2 years consecutive, so you can play that game if
Right.
you want to, but, and you get penalized and you get less money if you
Right.
do that, so you don't.
We don't wanna do that.
Don't wanna do that.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Reiner,
Yes.
Palmer,
Yes.
Wallstad,
Yes.
Yates,
Yes.
Jaggers.
Yes. Item 6, approve the general fund non-payroll encumbrances for fiscal year 26, of number 510 through 538 of $297,951.39. The fiscal year 26 change orders for general fund of $6,392.20, and the general fund payroll, $70,000 through $70,637 of $13,459,346.22.
So I would go through just a few. On the PO 511 for the HVAC replacements, that's just the bid that was approved last board meeting, and you take the PO to the board meeting after you approve the bid.
And that's for 9, that's what that X9 is, I can't remember.
Yeah, nine HVAC units. Let's see, there's a few different PDs, 515 and 516 are, one's a COSA Leadership Conference, and one is a conference for creating trauma-sensitive schools, which are both being paid out of Title IV funds, which are safe and healthy schools. And this is kind of the time of year where we start looking at PD. Teachers are getting out of school, and you can do a little more of that off-site. We've also done some on-site PD. On
525.
5:25 to 10 o'clock. So, and Mr. Mott can explain this a lot better than me.
Sorry,
But our safe room, our safe shelter has doors, and the locks are very, very special. And so it's kind of, you kind of have to have it, but they are also very expensive at the same time. Do you?
I'll take that one, because I know what he's
Which room where?
So in the middle school, where the restroom areas are, right there in the middle, they serve as both safe rooms for severe weather. And so that's part of it. We got to be able to secure those. But then also we've learned when we had lockdown drills, because those aren't working, you can't even lock the doors. So these are things that have to happen. And the problem with it is, because of the way they were designed as safe rooms and shelters, the locking mechanisms are very elaborate and they have to be custom. And so it's not cheap. And so that's why it's so expensive. But they are, if you go by the middle school at some point, or if you want to go by tonight after the meeting and look, you'll see they're, interlocking both ways, and just very different than a standard lock. And that's just so that when they go in for severe weather, they shut those, lock it in, and that area now enclosed is severe weather safe.
I would also add that we're using our SRO grant money to use that. So, a lot of the schools got SRO grant money 3 years ago, and it was kind of a 3-year pilot program. One of the things about it was, if you already had a security officer, you couldn't start using that money to pay that security officer, because they call that supplanting. And so you can't supplant. And so we've used it on different things, cameras and stuff throughout the years, and this is one of the things that really has to be done, and we're using those funds for it.
Is this the third year of that?
Mm-hmm.
And remind me, 90,000 comes to mind. Was that 90,000 total or per year?
About
or-
93. It was 93 this year.
Okay.
I think it was around that last year. I don't know about the first year.
Okay.
It was about 92.
Yeah.
Good. So I guess really the question I would have about it is, that safe room's not but 4 years older, so is there any type of warranty on that type of lock? Or?
See where you're going. So the annex is a different safe room. So the safe rooms we're talking about are the ones that we originally used for all of the elementary and middle
Gotcha.
school. Now we
Okay.
still use them for the elementary school, but these are the old ones.
So where is
yeah,
it?
that makes yeah.
Where
So
are they?
yeah, so
Not where we went, the night that
no,
we
it's not the annex.
Right,
Yeah,
across
it's what we
from
call the
Chick-fil-A.
annex.
It's a
Yeah.
First
Still
office,
there.
it's of our special education class.
Josh Holiday. They're 15, 20 years old.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. yeah.
The next big one, and this is, I think, the second biggest one on here, but 532 to Chromebookparts.com. We had kind of talked about this one of the last board meetings, but we're ordering a lot of Chromebooks. A lot of our Chromebooks are older, and they're also, they don't have the durability of a Mac, is what I would say. And so you do have to replace those more often than you would some computers. And we usually try to buy some every year. I think last year we spent around 60,000. And so there are just a lot that are getting old, and we're using some of that money to replace those.
And how many does that buy for?
I think that gets us 425, so, which is good. We got a good price on these, so,
Yeah.
and the prices are obviously gonna go up this summer.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But, yeah, this was good. We were gonna get less, because it was gonna cost more, but then we were able to find these from a different vendor for a lower cost, so.
And are these that are in carts, I would guess, used in the classroom and then returned each day, or are they, we take these home? How's that work?
These are mainly ones that will be in carts, yeah.
Okay.
Our high school ones that you take home, we're kind of self-sufficient on those. We take in money
Yes.
to replenish those on those most of the time. So these will be like used for testing and stuff like that, so.
Okay.
And then the last one I would mention is 534. There are some cameras out at the athletic fields that are just not working. They need some, I think some need some electrical repairs, and then some, they're just getting new cameras. And those cameras are pretty expensive. I think they've got 360 viewing, and so that's what that is, and that's also out of SRO grant money. And then any questions you guys have for me, I'll be happy to take.
I make a motion to approve the encumbrances as presented.
Second. Roll call vote.
Reiner,
Yes.
Palmer,
Yes.
Wallstad.
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Jaggers.
Yes. Item 7, discussion and possible action to approve the revisions to the following board policies. FNCE, reporting students under the influence. EHBCA-R, extended school year program standards, regulations.
Okay, so just a quick explanation. These are both from OSSBA recommended policies. The first one is just a policy for, again, something that typically happens, but it's maybe more for teacher training and staff training requirement. And that is that if a staff member suspects that a student is under the influence of anything, they have to report it. That seems pretty normal, pretty common sense, but this kind of maybe has a little more accountability to that if there's something suspected, that they will make sure to report that to administration and then allow them to go from there. So, and that is a requirement now that we have that in policy. The other one is extended school year. Just briefly to explain what extended school year is, it's summer school, but for special education specifically. So Mrs. Williams, who's at the soccer game tonight, but she has taken the policy from OSSBA, read through it very carefully to make sure it applies to our screening of students, our application to extended school year, and made sure that this policy aligns with what we currently do. It doesn't change what we currently do, but it was recommended that we have a policy that explains it so that parents know, what our procedures are for extended school year.
So you said the first one was supplied by the OSSBA?
Both of them, yeah.
Both of them were, okay.
Motion to approve board policies FNCE and EHBCAR.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Reiner.
Yes.
Palmer.
Yes.
Wallstead.
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Jaggers.
Yes. Item 8, discussion and possible action on the reappointment of Hannah Acosta, treasurer for fiscal year 27.
This is something we have to do every year at the end of the year, and it coincides with when their bonds are renewing, expiring. Now this one's a little different because Hannah came on midway through the year, and so we're doing it in, now, but we'll also do it again, I think, in November when hers expires. So the county used to be your treasurer for you, and then at one time, I believe you had the option to have your own treasurer. And so I think over 10 years ago, we switched to having our own.
Motion to approve the reappointment of Hannah Acosta, treasurer for fiscal year 27.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Reiner.
Yes.
Palmer.
Yes.
Wallstead.
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Jaggers.
Yes. Item 9, discuss and possible approval to accept Ellsworth Construction's bid to replace the North High School parking lot at a cost of $333,311.51.
So Mr. Mont, I might let you talk through this a little bit, just a little bit of the process and then the choice that we made, and yeah.
So we did an RFP because this is obviously a fairly large project. So it's for a complete tear out and replacement of the north parking lot. A little bit different than what we did last year on the west side, which was they milled down 3 inches and then reapplied the asphalt. The north parking lot has some significant cracks, and I was concerned if we just milled it down. Those cracks run pretty deep. Mm-hmm. And if we milled it down in 3 or 4 years, those cracks would just reach back up to the surface again. So did our standard RFP process, issued the RFP, did our 2 advertisements in the Tribune and the Journal Record, had a mandatory pre-bid meeting where the 4 folks who provided bids came out and walked the parking lot with me. Ellsworth was the lowest, most responsible bidder at the $333,311.51. And I've got a completion date on that RFP, August 1st, to make sure it's done before school, or there'll be $500 a day in liquidated damages. I say that I put that in the RFP just so they have a stake in the game. Mm-hmm. I've done it for 20 years and I've never had to have a vendor pay $500. Acts of God, things happen, and what I told them was, as long as you communicate with me and we're on the same page, we'll be good. So if you guys have any questions about that, I'm more than happy to ask, or sorry, answer.
I have a question about that. Okay, so there's like 2 parking lots. There's like that middle thing are you gonna keep that? What is that?
I'll let you know. We're going to get rid of that curb island out there. So that's going to add a little bit more technicality to the project, I guess. So there are electrical lines that run along that curb. There's conduit out there for the light poles. So they're going to tear that curb out. They're going to trench and bury those electrical lines.
I see.
So it will be one solid parking lot when we're done.
I wondered if that was a drainage thing too, but no.
No, the drainage is the further back, in between the bus lot and that last north lot.
Okay, I think that's good. That's good. I'll be one solid surface then.
Jewel twisted my arm until I told him we would do it.
Yeah, that was crazy. Mr. Mont, all of that is built into the price of this
Yes.
All of that.
Yes.
Just help me understand, just because I don't deal in this world, but their bid for direct costs was considerably less, yet higher on the general conditions. Could you explain that, maybe?
Well, so it depends on really how each one of these vendors classifies direct costs and general conditions. So what I'm used to is having direct costs as direct costs for your labor, your asphalt, specifically, things specific to the parking lot. Your general conditions are normally your administrative fees that go along with the project like that. And I can get clarification from Ellsworth, but they may have their administrative costs a little bit different than another company, if that makes any sense at all.
I just was curious about that when I saw the numbers. I mean,
Rudy is similar, I know it's less, but it's similar in that it's larger than the other two.
Right. Yeah, fees are considered, I mean, it's just.
Is the curb removal included in that?
Is the what?
Is the curb removal included in this number?
It should be, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because we had that conversation before we started the process.
And so this is just the existing paved parking lot, it's not the furthest north gravel lot?
It is not the gravel lot, it
Okay.
is just, you're correct, not the gravel lot.
Okay.
I will say too, for comparison, I don't think so, said, if we looked at the millage option, or just milling it down a little bit, repairing, that was gonna be close to 200,000 by itself. So when we looked at that we were also told that would maybe get us, a 5 maybe to 7 year window where before we start to see cracks and things. This option should get us to 15 to 20 plus years. And so when we compared the two, it's a significant amount of money, but we would rather be focusing on other things for the next 15 to 20 years than coming back to parking lot again. And so it's a significant investment, we know that. But hopefully it will last long enough that we won't have to worry about it and we can start focusing on other things. So.
Yeah, Michael ran an alternate bid just for not a complete tear out, but an overlaying it. That's what Dr. Bells is saying. It was gonna be about 200,000, and it wasn't even gonna go down as deep as those big cracks. And so what you run into there is, you're overlaying it, and there's some things they can do, but you run a pretty good risk of the cracks just reforming because you're not resetting the foundation. And so the thinking behind that was, you can do 200 and maybe get 5 years, or you can do 333 and hopefully get 15 or 20, as opposed to doing it again 5 years and then just overlaying it may cost what you could have spent this year. And so we are trying to save money in the future by.
Mr. Vance, I just want to say that being in the construction industry, having numbers this close together on this big of a project means you did a really good job on your RFP. So usually there's a bigger spread than that. Everybody was pretty close, so that means you did a good job putting it together.
I've seen that spread before.
One last question. When's the starting date or potential starting date of this?
They've got us on the schedule for the summer. I don't have an exact date yet. When I reached out to them, I informed them it was going to a board vote. I think I let them know last week, and they just mentioned that they had it on the schedule, and when I got them a PO, they finalized it. So it's the same company that did our west lot, and this is a significantly bigger project, but they did that west lot in a week and a half. I mean, it was pretty quick. They got guys out here and knocked it out quickly. So I've worked with them again last year, and I was fairly impressed with them. I don't have any concerns about them getting it done on time or having any issues with it.
So, go ahead. Well, I was gonna say, just as soon as we find out that, we'll just want to coordinate with community members and make sure that we know, have exact dates as much as possible, so we can coordinate.
And we will. We should.
Yep.
Make a motion to approve Ellsworth Construction's bid to replace the north high school parking lot at a cost of $333,311.51.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Reiner.
Yes.
Palmer.
Yes.
Wallstad.
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Jaggers.
Yes. Item 10, discussion and possible action to allow specific seniors with less than 26 credit hours normally required by the district, but meet the state's minimum requirements to graduate.
Mr. Joel, you mind kind of just updating why we would do this, and this is every year, correct? But why might we look at something like this?
Yeah, almost every year we've done, as long as I've been here, we've done it, where it's just, you know, kids that are in alternative school specifically. Usually they're in alternative school, but occasionally you get a couple kids that go to play college. They want to go early. Like we had a kid this year who's going to go play college athletics, and they want to go up there the semester before, and they can't get done with the extra three credits that are required by us. And so we give them a kind of, we don't advertise it and make it known that we're going to do this for every kid, but when there's situations like that, we tend to let them go early to go complete their college. Other kids, they're working 45 hours a week and they're providing for their family. Like the kid that graduated early this year, he did not have the ability to take 3 extra classes when he's working 40 hours a week on top of trying to go to school. So that's typically why we do it. Again, occasionally a kid wants to start college early because they have a different dream ahead, and we do that as well, but it's really a small population. We're talking 10 kids, maybe 11 kids max.
This year we had that. That's how many we had this
it's
year.
11 kids right now. That's all we have for this year. And with the bigger overarching thing we get to, some of these kids that are in alternative school, that they don't, general school is not just for them overall. And so we're worried that if they didn't have this option, they would leave, they would drop out and hurt us overall. And so we don't want that to happen. We want to give them an option too as well. And so that's why we do it.
What's the minimum? This just says less than 26. Is there like a minimum?
23 is the state requirement.
23 credit hours. Sorry, yeah, 23 credit hours is the state minimum for graduation. That's what I'd say a majority of schools do choose to do that. We ask for more from our kids, and that's totally fine. But we just say, hey, for specific situations like kids going to college, they're working full time, they're going to college early, we say, hey, listen, you can go to 23 if they are in a situation that is necessary for them.
We had one student as well that came to us credit deficient, and just so that's a case where we're trying to just help them come to a new school and so
I'm sorry to interrupt, Dr.
No, you're good.
We had a kid who showed up a month ago, pregnant, and is credit deficient, a senior, and we're like, listen, we want you just to graduate, because if you don't graduate, then you can be held over for a 5th year, it can ding us, and we don't want that to happen. We want them to move on to as well. They had the baby already, so they're, obviously trying to take care of a newborn and trying to get schoolwork done. And instead of extra 3 classes, we said, hey, listen, just do the 23 and we'll figure it out. So that's it.
I make a motion to approve specific seniors with less than 26 credit hours normally required by the district, but meet the state minimums requirements to graduate.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Reiner.
Yes.
Palmer.
Yes.
Wallstad.
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Jaggers.
Yes. Item 11, Summer Technology and Coding Academy for high school students.
Mr. Forrester, you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So actually, Seth came up with this idea, kind of. So, we really never had anything, beyond the elementary STEM camps that we've done. But this just kind of gives an opportunity, and Seth's kind of had a chance to talk with the high school kids and even talk with middle school kids since they ate lunch down here, just about different things that they're interested in. And this one's kind of one that Seth kind of came up with, and we're gonna see if we can get some kids signed up for it this summer. So it kind of mirrors what our elementary camps would be, like a 3-day camp where they come and learn about coding. We called it hackable, but Seth, I want to
wait a minute.
Yeah, but they're not hacking anything right here.
Yeah, wait a minute. What are we getting ourselves into here?
Exactly.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to try and I'm going to set some computers up, and I think a big way, especially for guys, especially for guys, you have to make some competitive element or gamify something to really draw them in. So they're going to be, I don't know how many students we're going to get, but I'm going to set up some computers, turn off the internet so there's no AI. They have to think, well, we're going to do one day AI, and we're going to code an app and stuff. I've been doing some of that lately because I'm going to try and transition them from using it to get answers and then remembering nothing, to making tools or making study guides to help them. So something that exists after, you use your tokens for the day, or if you're paying for something that lasts beyond, if the internet's out, I have nothing, it's kind of like it never was there and worked at all. So we're gonna kind of work on some of that stuff. Then I wanted us to do something kind of with hardware, or it may be simplified, something kind of like a game that'll emulate it or something like that. But every single day there's going to be a challenge where they're going to break into teams. They're going to have manuals for simple tools to do different things with the computer, but they're going to have to sit there and get clever about it, and they're not going to be able to look anything up. And the reason I'm probably going to make some of my own things for this is so even if they did look it up, it doesn't exist online. So I think if we can kind of get some competitive mindedness with some of the guys that may really do something kind of with them. So the thing is, we're going to try and see who can make a machine run the fastest, and then who can. I think on the last day we're going to have them kind of break through a computer and see who can do a capture the flag challenge first. And so then maybe that'll get some people, interested, because I see a lot of them use AI right now, but it's not in a real constructive way. So I know they're going to need to use this for their careers, but really use it, not just look up an answer, because you rarely get one answer for a history question when you're at work and you're looking for a solution. So.
And Seth kind of being down there, kind of by the lunchroom, he's got some people that kind of hang around down there, and he's built some relationships with them, and I think this will be a really good thing. So this summer.
You are accepting girls too, right?
Oh yes, oh yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Our staff invited? This sounds super interesting.
Absolutely, anyone can come that wants to go.
Especially when you call it hackable.
That's right.
Yeah.
Make a motion to approve the Summer Technology and Coding Academy for high school students.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Reiner.
Yes.
Palmer.
Yes.
Wallstad.
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Jaggers.
Yes. Item 12, staff reports.
As you guys see, we're missing quite a few staff because things are busy this time of year. I think for tonight, we might have you guys just kind of look through and see if you have any questions or want to highlight anything.
It's good to see that we got the OETT grant.
I'm glad you wanted to highlight it because he didn't tell me we weren't sharing it. I was really excited to share it. We did. We got it. It was announced last month, and I was in Carline, and they could see. People were like, "Yeah, we saw you get really excited." And so we had our first meeting, and we already have met with the K-20 Center and have set our dates for the fall and are working on our learning team. And so we're really excited for what that'll look like and how the goal. Obviously, there are lots of different research and talks on, how much technology and all. A lot of this is really our heart and focus is on getting to this level of creating and problem solving. It's not just like what he referenced, not just utilizing technology to find an answer or to complete an assignment, but really getting it in the hands of our kids to be problem solvers. So we're really excited.
Can I bring up one more thing on that AI deal?
Sure.
I've been messing with it a lot lately. I've had incredible luck making educational games that run in the browser that are a single file. And I talked to some teachers about that, and they're kind of interested in learning how to do that. So this is with the free Claude tier that I just have my personal Gmail on, and it can make some pretty you can kind of custom make education games. And so obviously the cost is nothing, almost on that. And so that might be something that we can really utilize here coming up. And if we start to do it a lot more, I guess we might have to have a vetting process to see that they're all safe and everything. But I'm really optimistic about that.
And now.
Any other questions? Okay,
Real quick, on the board report, we're there, right? Staff reports on the board.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about Canadian Valley. we have 41 students that have been accepted. That's for this upcoming fall, correct?
The high school report? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
That was the high school.
How does that typically, is that about the number that go out there, about
Yeah,
41?
we've grown, since I've been here, we've grown substantially. I think the first year I was here was only like 15.
Okay.
And then we went to, I think right around 40 this year. I think it's 40, 45, moving forward to 41. And it's really good for our kids. Gives them another avenue to get education. We love it. It's really good.
So with that, is that based on, do we have a quota, you know, or that we are allowed to send out there? How does that work?
Well, so I'll take a little bit of it. I'll try to answer as best I can. It's a little tricky because when CV Tech was founded, we were one of the founding members of Canadian Valley Technology Center back in the 80s.
Earlier than that.
Or 70s. So we were one of the founding members. Bethany was, but we're not in Canadian Valley. So if you look at the map of all the technology centers in the state, it's like Canadian Valley, and then there's just this one little island of Bethany that we're part of. So it gets a little tricky, and moving forward next year, we actually met with Dr. Lutz from CV Tech a couple weeks ago to discuss this, because we're running into a little snafu, because they are, and rightfully so, they have to, I'm not gonna say the word cater, but another good word to use. They have to prioritize, thank you, prioritize the members of their county. So it gets a little bit tricky because let's give you an example. I wanna go to cosmetology school. I love hair, I love makeup, all the things. It's not church, but I wanna go there. Well, if I don't live in Canadian Valley's district and I apply from Bethany High School, I don't get a benefit for being at Bethany. They're gonna look at first who lives in our valley, who lives in our county. Once they do that, then maybe we'll get looked at down there on the bottom. So moving forward next year, what you'll see is students in Canadian Valley, students in Francis Tuttle, students in Metro Tech, students in insert career tech. Why? Because where your money goes, your taxes go, it's where your career tech is going to give you the most options to attend and get into school. So we have kids, we have two girls, both apply for hair school, cosmetology school at career tech, at CV Tech. One accepted, she lives in Mustang and comes to Bethany. One, the exact same, doesn't get accepted because she lives in Bethany. And we had this conversation, Dr. Bellis was very clear, like, what's the benefit for us being a member? Because you pull up CV Tech right now, guys, it says, first thing, Bethany Public Schools, because we're a really good school. People want to see, like, we are it. So we're the first thing on their front page. And Dr. Bellis said, you know, like, what's the pro of us, you know, going to Canadian Valley? Well, it's almost an act of God to get us to change partnerships with an institution. So we really just decided with Dr. Bella's leadership of saying, hey, we're just going to use it. If they're going to say it only pays dividends to where you live at, then we'll tell our students, if you live in Bethany, hey, where do your tax dollars go to? Well, they go to Francis Tuttle, or they go to Metro Tech, or they go to insert school. And so then we'll just have them go to those individual schools next year.
So I want to talk about that. I thought that our kids, after they graduate, can go to CV Tech without paying tuition.
So that was correct, and this was something that we were talking through quite a bit, because everything he said was correct. Basically, the career techs, according to them, have been told by the State Department, look, your tax dollars come from the taxpayers. So unlike public school, where if a kid transfers into our district, the state pays us for that kid being here. Career Tech doesn't work that way. They just get the money from ad valorem for the people. So what they've been told, and it makes sense, is if you're accepting kids outside of your district because they live in, and it's really not Bethany, it's really CV Tech's district and their boundaries, Francis Tuttle and their boundaries. The problem with Bethany is we bring kids from all of these different boundaries. Well, CV Tech is essentially telling us, and this is fine, we just needed to learn how it operates. They were telling us, we do have to consider our in-district kids first, just like Francis Tuttle is going to consider their in-district kids first. Now, then that brought up the question, what about the next step scholarships, which is after they graduate, they should be free beyond. The good news of that is that they still can get that in their district. So if I live in Francis Tuttle's district, even though Bethany's not partnered with them, I still qualify for that next step scholarship because I'm in Francis Tuttle's district. So the adjustment for us is...
Has that been proven? I mean, like somebody's gone to Francis Tuttle and not had to pay for it?
Yes. Now, one thing that changed 3 years ago, and it was in the language. CV Tech changed their policy to stay in district. Francis Tuttle, for example, currently, and on their website, they take in-district and partner schools. According to CV Tech, that is something that everyone should be changing, but they just maybe haven't made those changes yet. In the end, it's just to our benefit, to our kids, to tell them to enroll where they live, actually to enroll in both. Because if you get accepted here, great. If you get accepted here, fine. Whereas before, we've always encouraged them to go to CV Tech because they're our partner. And CV Tech has even told us, we would tell you to have them enroll at both places. The other encouraging news that I would share is that we did ask, how are kids being accepted compared to other districts also in that in their district. And the percentages were very close. So 53% of our students are accepted. I don't remember all the percentages of other districts, but there were some that were even lower. El Reno and just some of those others were lower. There were some that were a little bit higher. I think Mustang was the highest, but all of them were within that 50-something percent, somewhere in the 40-something percent. So it did appear to us that our kids were being accepted. It wasn't like very few of our kids were being accepted, but the change that we will make is we will start telling kids who live in Metro Tech or Francis Tuttle's district, hey, apply to both places.
Right.
Then you start to ask, well, and we did, like, what's the benefit of being a partner if we're just gonna do that? The benefit is really just for in-district kids. And this is a good benefit because it ensures transportation and a higher chance for those kids to be accepted there. So, but really it comes down to transportation, because that is the one thing that we can tell kids who live in our 1 square mile here, you will have a bus ride provided by CV Tech there and back every day. And we won't have that if they, apply and get into somewhere else. So,
I mean, if we had that kind of relationship with Francis Tuttle though, let's say, because it's I don't know if it's closer or not.
Real close. It's on 122nd and Rockwell.
Well,
it's not as close as you would think.
Right.
It's like that. But
I guess it would only make sense if it was closer. But because it's kind of a haul out to CV Tech and back every day.
Yeah.
So at some point, we'll need to, if people start going to Francis Tuttle more than CV Tech, then we'll just need to look at the transportation piece of it.
And that's changed since I've been here. We initially had one of our staff members or our employees drive a bus or a people mover because we had so few kids going to CV Tech. He drove a route, but then that took one of our maintenance guys out for, he had to drive a morning route.
Yeah.
2/3 of the day, morning route, there and back, afternoon route, there and back. 2/3 of the day he was gone. So we contacted Wells and I contacted CV Tech and said, hey, we got 40 kids coming out there now. Like, we need a bus. And so they've been providing us transportation, which has been great, super helpful for our kids. But it's always a challenge when, if you look at proximity, CV Tech is on 66 and way out there in El Reno. If you go to Francis Tuttle, it's 122nd in Rockwell and Reno and Rockwell.
Right.
It's maybe 12 minutes from here, and so it's a close place. But if you live in those districts, They're gonna accept the money first where they live at.
So, I just want to understand it. Are we a partner school to CV Tech, but
Yes.
not Francis Tuttle?
Correct.
So we would have to change our partnership.
Yes.
Which is a vote of the people within your district. You would have to de-annex, which requires a vote of your community and a certain percentage of that vote. Then you would have to annex.
A public vote.
Correct, yeah.
Oh, okay.
To another place, and
That seems hard.
it's a process. It doesn't happen very often. And again, I would say, I mean, certainly we looked at this long and hard because our first indications were, are our kids being treated fairly here? And it seemed like at the time, maybe not, because one policy doesn't match another policy. Now, whether that's because they just haven't gotten there to change that policy or not, but I will say at the end of the day, I've had conversations with a lot of people, and I do feel like our best interest for our kids is to say, if you plan to go to Career Tech and you live in Francis Tuttle's district by their boundaries, apply to Francis Tuttle and apply to CV Tech. If you live in CV Tech's boundaries, just apply to CV Tech. Either way, when they graduate or get done, they're going to qualify for that next step scholarship in their district, which is also why we would tell them now, which we haven't in the past, we need to be telling our students based on where they live, not just by our boundaries. But it is good to still be a partner because we ensure our district kids get those benefits of having that partnership in the transportation. So, so as of right now, and we'll see. Again, what we're being told is that every Career Tech is being told the same thing, which is you need to be basing this based on your taxpayers. But as I've checked, not everyone has caught up their policies to say the same thing. So maybe they will, time will tell, or maybe they'll keep it the same. And either way, we just need to have kids have a different mindset with that.
So we have 41 students going to CV Tech. About how many do we have going to other career techs?
Right now, nobody.
Okay.
There might be one or two that has reciprocity, like they applied at Francis Tuttle and they live in Francis Tuttle's district and they're going to culinary school, which is a big one at Francis Tuttle. But it may be one, maybe two max. I don't know that number off the top of my head, but it's one or two.
Okay, but you're saying that starting this next school year, you'll be talking to students.
Oh yeah, next year, Mr. Pugh and Mrs. Melton, I've already been talking to kids like, hey, if you want Career Tech, where do you live at?
Yeah.
Here's your Career Tech you go to. Apply for CV Tech, but also apply for this one too.
That's good.
Yep.
Thank you. Item 13, proposed executive session. Item 13A, vote to convene or not to convene into executive session.
A vote to convene into executive session.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Reiner.
Yes.
Culver.
Yes.
Wallstad.
Yes.
Yes. Jaggers.
Yes.
It's one of
The open session. Let the record reflect.
Hold on one second.
Oh, yes.
I think Mrs. Tovar,
She was in
she
here.
was in the choir thing, so we'll get her back.
Oh,
here real
okay,
quick.
okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I was so I was getting some out. So guys.
We got 8:13 that we're back.
You were sitting over there at the sign.
Probably feels good.
Bogus.
How you doing?
Bogus.
8:13. Let the record reflect that the board voted to enter into executive session at 7:14 PM and returned from at 8:13 PM. Oh, sorry. The board discussed only agenda items number 12, employment of employees. No votes or action were taken. Only the board and the superintendent, Dr. Ruben Bellows, were present in the executive session. Item 14, discussion and possible board action on the employment of certified employees in Addendum A as authorized by 25 OS 307B1 for the 26-27 school year.
I make a,
Second. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
motion to approve the employment of certified employees in Addendum A as authorized by 25 OS Section 307B1 for the 26-27 school year.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Reiner.
Yes.
Palmer.
Yes.
Wallstad.
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Jaggers.
Yes. Item 15, discussion and possible board action on the employment of employees in Addendum B as authorized by 25 OS 307B1.
Motion to approve the employment of employees in Addendum B as authorized by 25 OS Section 307B1.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Reiner.
Yes.
Palmer.
Yes.
Wallstad.
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Jaggers.
Item 16, discussion and possible board action on the employment of employees in Addendum C as authorized by 25 OS 307B1.
Make a motion to approve the employment of employees in Addendum C as authorized in 25 OS Section 307B1.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Reiner.
Yes.
Palmer.
Yes.
Wallstad.
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Jaggers.
Yes. Item 17, discussion and possible board action on the employment of employees in Addendum D as authorized by 25 OS 307B1.
Make a motion to approve the employment of employees in Addendum D as authorized by 25 OS Section 307B1.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Reiner.
Yes.
Palmer.
Yes.
Wallstad.
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Jaggers.
Yes. Item 18, discussion and possible action to create a new full-time, non-certified support staff position of HR Data Specialist Assistant.
So currently, our HR data specialist person is Dee Lott, been with the district for a very long time, does a great job. She works part-time, and so this year, she's done a great job, but there are times during accreditation season especially, and other times in the year that her not being in the office at certain parts of the day become challenging when principals are looking for certain things with accreditation. And we feel like that we don't need a full-time certified person for this, but we just need somebody who, A, can work for her whenever she is not in the building. So she can give tasks to or say, hey, we've got the transfer list coming up, can you look through that? I'll be in the office when she gets there. So we would like Mrs. Lott to train and specifically work with this person, but this person would work directly under her and complete tasks that she's not completing while she's out of the office. Also then would be able to assist principals and even the business office at certain times of the year with contracts, things like that. So this is a position that we feel like will lighten the load that Mrs. Lott has as a part-time employee. also will gain valuable experience and knowledge that Mrs. Lott has, since she would be the one training this person and working directly with this person, that we honestly think a lot about. That if circumstances occurred that Mrs. Lott was unavailable suddenly, like there would be a lot of knowledge that would also be unavailable at that time. So we feel like this is a position that would be beneficial to her, especially that she would be able to directly supervise and work with. Do you have anything to add, Mr. Jasper? I know that this person would work with Mr. Jasper as well, so.
Yeah, I would say D-Lot does a ton. I don't know how she does it all part-time, and she's probably here realistically more than the actual part-time hours, and I would say it would be a huge benefit to her and the school for that help, and somebody to also know the knowledge that she knows. It is very good to have a backup, is what I would add to that.
I'll make a motion to approve a new full-time non-certified support staff position of HR data specialist assistant.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Reichert.
Yes.
Palmer.
Yes.
Wallstad.
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Jaggers.
Yes. Item 19, informational items.
So we have baccalaureate at New Church Tuesday, May 19th at 7 p.m. It's the season of graduation events, and that's one coming up. And then, of course, graduation is at Bethany First Church on Thursday, May 21st at 7 p.m. And then our last day of school is that same day on the 21st. And I think everybody's getting excited about that, but there's a lot going on in the meantime.
Item 20, board member comments. Item 21, superintendent report.
All right, so the year is coming to a close, and we have many things to celebrate this year. We've heard about successes from so many different areas, and we take pride in not just specializing in one thing. We're not just good at academics, we're not just good at sports, we're not just good at fine arts. When we celebrate things like we celebrated today at the beginning of the meeting, we learn that there are a lot of different programs that are excelling at high levels, which is great because kids are excited about different things. And if you just excel at one thing, that would be great for a small group of kids, but you have a lot of other kids. So I'm always really, really impressed with how well our staff does with their specific things. And that is the expectation that we set, that we hire passionate people about their areas. But when you see things like robotics going to nationals and speech going to worlds, speech going to nationals, cheer team winning state stunt, our soccer team, playing in the semifinal right now. Our musical was nominated for a Kelly O'Hara Award. Our band, choir, orchestra continue to win sweepstakes and have high honors. And then our students even celebrating all the opportunities they're going to have on decision day. You just time and time again see it's not just one thing that we're specializing and focusing on. We're just focusing on everything, and our staff just takes so much pride in what they do. And when every staff member takes pride in what they do it well for their kids. And that's how it all works, is because everybody is really doing their thing so well. So can't thank our staff enough about that. We also want to talk about our students, and when students are put in that kind of environment, they're going to thrive, because what they're passionate about, they see that other people are passionate about it. Our kids are happy, respectful, productive, confident, proud. They're supportive of each other. They're not perfect, but they continue to give us reasons to celebrate with them every day, and we are proud of that as well. And they are the reason that we all get up every day and come to work and want to do it that much better each day. And again, I just see that across the district, that every person that we have in front of kids cares that they're in front of kids and takes pride in the fact that they're in front of kids, and sharing that passion with them. And so as we head into the summer, I really look forward to that season, because we start talking about what kind of exciting things can we do for next year, and what kind of projects can we complete that's gonna be exciting for them, and what kind of programs can we be very efficient at and maximize to make sure that we're continually trying to get better and better in everything that we do. And so wishing everybody a great summer, and also just excited about that opportunity to sit down and kind of refocus and start planning on how can we continue to make things better in Bethany. So excited about that.
All right, we are adjourned.